Having a welder is a lot like having a pickup. Your friends just come out of the woodwork. A short while ago, a friend of mine put in a request that I make him a garden sculpture that looks a little bit like this. Here's the finished product. I think it came out pretty good, actually. So the first issue was, how am I going to get these nice round half circles? And after a lot of deliberation, I decided I really needed a roll bender. Since this was a one-off project, and I didn't plan on doing very much sheet metal work, I investigated and didn't want to spend a lot of money. There were two options. One was a roll bender that would handle thicker materials, but only up to 1 inch wide. And looking at the sculpture, really needed to be about 2 inches wide. So I looked in at a sheet roll bender, and the cheapy version of that basically had a limitation on thickness to about 1 millimeter, which works out to about 16 gauge, I believe. Okay, so the plan is, before bending the strips, is to drill holes into each end of the strips that are going to become the half circles. And on a smaller diameter, we'll have 1/4 inch holes on each side, and that is smaller than the 3/8 rod being used. So we have a place to basically spot weld the strip onto the rod. On the larger one, we'll have the 1/4 inch hole for the upper portion, and then a 3/8 inch hole on the other end where it slips over the rod. And then you can see on the rod itself, we'll use the grinding wheel and taper the end until the end is just a little bit less than 1/4 inch, and it'll slip in and station on these holes that we drilled. And then we'll just cut a 2 inch piece here with a taper end on both sides, so that we can station this little 2 inch section into these holes, and have a nice little setup where we can spot weld the unit into place. So since we're going to drill those holes into the strips before we bend them, we need to know how long to make each of the strips. Well, I found a piece of sheet metal that was 48 inches long by 7.5 inches wide, and I thought I'd cut enough strips to make 2 of these in case one went bad, and if I was successful making 2, I'd just keep one. So the long edge, 48 inches, take one strip and cut it in half. It'd be 24 inches, and we get 2 of those, and we'll use that for the small diameter strip. And then the other 2/3 we'll cut 2 strips of a length that'll be appropriate for the large diameter half circle. So we said the strips we're going to use for the smaller diameter half circle is 24 inches in length, but we're going to have a 1 inch overhang on each end. So that's 24 inches less 2 inches is 22 inches is the actual circumference, if you will, of the half circle. So since we know that 22 inches is the circumference of the half circle, and the circumference of a circle equals pi times the diameter, so the circumference of a half circle would be 1/2 pi times the diameter. So 22 inches equals 1/2 times pi times the diameter. 44 times equals pi times the diameter. Diameter then winds up being 14 inches. So now we can calculate how large a strip we need for the large half circle. The diameter of the large half circle is going to be greater than the smaller. We want a 2-inch spacing from the small circle on the top and another 2 inches on the bottom. So the diameter of the large half circle should be the diameter of the small half circle plus 4 inches. We already showed that the small circle is going to be 14 inches. We had 4, so the diameter of the largest circle is going to be 18 inches. Okay, so now that we know the diameter of the largest circle is going to be 18 inches, the circumference will be 1/2 pi times the diameter, or 18 inches. So that'll be 1/2 of 18 is 9 times pi, which is 3.1416, equals 28.3 inches. But again, we want that 1 inch overlap on each end, so we'll have 28.3 plus 2. So now we know the length of the large strips has to be 30.3 inches. So one of the 3 strips that we cut from this 48-inch length piece of sheet metal will be cut in half to give us 2 24-inch strips, and then the other 2 will cut 30.3 inches. You can see we cut the strips as we calculated. We drilled the holes, and then we used the bender to bend the nice half circles, and everything came out pretty much the way we had hoped. The smaller diameter strip is got about a 2-inch spacing from the larger diameter strip. The holes are all in place, and time to start sticking it all together. All right, here you can see 2-inch sections of the 3/8 inch rod where we've tapered both ends so that they taper down to less than 1/4 inch and will fit nicely into the 1/4 inch holes in the strips. Okay, here you can see we've got the 2-inch rod in place between the 2 strips and lodged in their 1/4 inch holes, and we're using the level here, long level, as a straight edge to line up that short 3/8 inch rod with the longer rod that will go in the bottom section. And here is a close-up of that little 2-inch section of 3/8 rod secured in the 1/4 inch holes and held in place, ready to weld. And once again, once it was all welded together, it came out pretty good, I think.